Partner 1 is going to start printing today. That's the person with the newspaper. Partner 2 has a board sitting at their seat. They're the clean side of the table, helping Partner 1 try and stay as clean as possible. Partner 1, once you've picked your paper, write your name, teacher name, table number on it, and pass it to your neighbor so it's out of the way for you to start rolling out your ink for your prints. You can use up to 3 colors on your inking plate when making your prints. You're printing 4 times, so you can make a pattern when you print. Maybe these 2 prints have the same colors, and these 2 prints have the same colors, or these 2 and these 2, or all 4 can be exactly the same. Regardless, you're only putting about the size of a quarter of ink on the plate. So if you're using more than 1 color, it's less amount of each color. If you're doing just 1 color, then it's the size of a quarter from that 1 color. Talking about color, complementary colors that are opposite on the color wheel, look good together. So if you picked a blue piece of paper, printing orange on that blue paper would look great, or any warm colors, in fact, would look great on the blue paper. If you picked a warm colored paper, like orange, the complement blue would look great on it, and any other cool colors would look great on it. But when you start mixing colors together on your inking plate, complements are going to mix and make a brownish, grayish color. Unless you're going for that, I wouldn't put complements together on your inking plate. The color wheel will be on the board for you to refer to make sure that doesn't happen while you're printing. So I'm going to start with, I'm actually going to use 3 colors. So I'm going to squeeze just a tiny amount of my first color, tiny amount of my second color, keeping them away from each other so I'm not grabbing ink onto this tube, and a tiny amount of my third color. Now, these tubes, you should have 1 of each color in your tray. Do not borrow them from other tables. If it's out, let the teacher know so that I can replace it, but I don't replace these until they are totally gone. So here's a little trick. Take the tube, drag it against the edge of the table. You can do this with toothpaste at home too. It saves a lot of toothpaste. Until the ink starts coming out. There it is. Don't squeeze too far. Then bring it over to your plate. Squeeze a small amount of that color. So when this is totally empty, I'll replace it. But right now there's a bunch of ink that's still at the end of the tube there. So now I'm going to take my brayer and I'm going to keep all 3 of these colors separate from each other. By rolling back and forth, you can hear that sticky, tacky sound because it's a thin layer of ink. If you don't hear that thin, sticky, tacky sound, you might have too much ink on there or not enough. Looks like candy corn. So I'm gonna take these colors on my brayer and very carefully, because I wanted them separate. You could go this way and blend them together, but they're just gonna mix all together and make one solid color. I like how they're separated, so I'm gonna leave them separated. And then I'm gonna carefully roll that onto my foam, trying not to roll off of my foam onto the newspaper, onto my register. And that's why my clean paper is out of the way. Because if I roll onto my clean paper, my one and only paper, it will have extra ink on it. And neatness always counts, so you want to try and stay as neat as possible. So I have coated my foam. Now I need to make my first print. So put my brayer back on my plexiglass out of the way. Ask my neighbor for my paper. Name is on the back, facing me. My register is the same size as my paper, so I need to line up my printing paper with my register. Carefully lay it down. Now press with my fingertips. Feel that entire square underneath to get ink onto my paper. Once I have applied even pressure, I'm going to pull my first print. You can see I missed a little bit of ink on this edge over here. You're printing 4 times. So if I didn't put enough ink on here, I need to make sure now on the next print I put a little more. So I need to move this to the next spot. And if you can't move it, you can ask your clean neighbor to help you move it. And actually, I'm gonna go from here to here. I want this print here to be exactly the same. I'm gonna make these 2 match. And then next week when I print these 2, I'll make those 2 match. So I'm gonna take the ink that's on here. And I'm gonna add just a little more white because I didn't have enough when I printed. Just a tiny little dot. Small amount. I think I should have enough orange and yellow still on my brayer to print that second print. you want to change up the colors, you can, but you're not washing this in between. So you have to use what's there and add to it, or change it up somehow without cleaning that off. So I've covered that. Bring my paper back, line it up again, and press for my second print. So I'm only doing 2 prints today, and then I will clean up at the sink all of my supplies. Pull my second print. All right, much better. So I have 2 prints on my paper. There is a board for you that your neighbor has. Your paper and your register are going to go on this board, but you need to take your foam off of here because you have to wash it. So carefully remove your foam, put it face down on your inking plate. This will go onto the board waiting for your clean foam to be reattached for next week. Partner 1 will take these supplies to the sink to be cleaned. Partner 2 will set up the table just like it is, get rid of newspaper if it's messy, replace it with a new piece if needed for the next class. Putting tubes of ink away, so you're cleaning up the table spot while partner 1's cleaning up the sink.